Your Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good morning, and welcome to 3 high potential days that invite every one of us to stretch our imaginations to our absolute boundary together, the Rewired Summit. How beautiful is the name. Chapeau bas for the team who came up with it. I've been contemplating the name and how it literally means to remove old wires from something and connect them with a new circuit. Let's think of it for a moment. If we're going to rewire a house, for example, we don't tear it down, we open it up. We get a blueprint for how it was designed, and we inspect the walls, we explore how these wires came together, and we understand where there are shortages and weak spots. We think clearly about what do we need the house to do. We need it to turn on the lights, cook on the stove, run our heat. We do it safely, sustainably, and affordably. And so then we take our industry knowledge to examine how new, more modern wiring can help us achieve that. And then we make a new design for our house. And how we do that in education is the same way. The foundation on which we build our new house of education begins with 2 fundamental skills. I think we're going to talk about so many vital skills in the next 3 days and this week together. But I want to emphasize 2 new skills wearing my youth hat that I think absolutely cannot be missed and are the fulcrum of all design and redesign. And they are curiosity and courage. The Rewired Summit is about how we prepare youth to succeed in our dynamic world. And now, as leaders and decision makers in every field, our primary goal for education must be to instill in youth curiosity and courage, 1. 2, for us as policymakers and decision makers as well, to lead with courage and curiosity at Rewired, and to lead with curiosity and courage as a baseline in designing education, because we cannot be static. And we cannot think that things will change randomly or improve randomly. Design happens with intention. To improve outcomes, we must be willing to be curious about improvements and new things, and we must have the courage to rewire ourselves as a prerequisite. Let me start on the first skill, curiosity. If any of you live with or have kids around you, especially toddlers, you might notice how once toddlers start talking, they will ask a lot of questions, mainly why. And every single answer you give them will be followed with, but why? Usually it doesn't end up until the adult goes crazy and we question things like, why do we exist? Now, have you noticed that by the time they finish primary school, these whys start fading away? Where did their questions go? No, I don't think so. They've figured out life yet. But because the education system is not fully designed to keep up or nourish the innate, driven, powerful vehicle through which these young kids learn, which is curiosity. The education we have now assumes that we all, as young people, need to learn the same things at the same time, in the same place, in the same way. And curiosity is off the subject. And hence, it's not even welcomed to begin with, not to say discouraged. That's a very big missed opportunity. Questioning is a uniquely powerful tool for unlocking the value in everything. The why? It's so powerful because it reconsiders, and I want to highlight bold the re, just like re and rewired. It reconsiders what we are allowed to be, what we allowed to be true yesterday, not today, not tomorrow. And if we rewired our brains today, all of us as decision makers or employees in organizations, you will see how it's going to spur learning. It's going to spur the exchange of ideas, fuel innovation, improve performance, build trust across team members. And make no mistake, we live in the 21st century, which is a tsunami of knowledge that needs so many new demands, and it's overwhelming for everyone. It's constantly changing, and we need to be constantly curious about what comes next. And that's what curiosity is about, the strong desire to know and learn something. And curiosity in action is we pursue the things that interest us. We don't stay where we are in the dark, but boldly seek out to bring new knowledge into the light, to explore why something is, how it works, and how it could work better. This is what we need and want young people and youth to be. We need curious youth, and youth need to be equipped to approach change and crisis. The fundamental aim of education must be for youth to be empowered with the tools to help easily execute ideas, become an expert negotiator, and attract the attention of those around them, and scale up promising ideas, innovations, and solutions. But let me be very clear. Curiosity and this skill is not just for young people. We need curious policymakers and decision makers. We need curious leaders who seek out and listen to young people, who see what the true needs of the education system are, who look beneath the surface on workforce matters, who do the work themselves to understand why. Leaders must become experts in curiosity. And here why maybe curiosity is important for youth and leaders. It helps us connect the dots. And I'm going to talk about one of my most inspirational physicists and Nobel laureate, Richard Feynman. I think he gets at the heart of this. And he identifies why and maybe the absolute magic and power of curiosity. And I encourage you to watch his videos on YouTube. You are going to fall in love with physics, I assure you. He explains that the more we know about the world, the more we know that, I quote, "The things that make the wind makes the waves, and the motion of the water is like the motion of the air, is like the motion of the sand." We find out that things have common features, and knowledge turns out to be more and more universal. We find out how one thing works is how everything works. And I think that's the heart of why curiosity matters, because curiosity connects us to all other things and to one another. It excites us about the world that we are in that otherwise can seem too stressful, too uncertain for everyone, even for young people, too hard. Isn't that why and what we crave the most, which is connection, excitement, and meaning in life? And Feynman concludes, just like a runner gets a kick out in the morning, he gets it out of thinking. He can't stop, and that is curiosity. And this is our top job at Rewired for the next 3 days, the very bedrock of what will guide our conversations and that will reveal optimal outcomes for education is our curiosity. And it doesn't leave us where we started. I want to go to the next skill. It lays the groundwork for a life of continuous learning, which takes us to the most important skill as well, which is courage. Why courage? Because we as young people and we as decision makers need courage to create, and we need courage to identify what is not working in the old way, and courage to redesign something new. Did you know that the word courage comes from the French word cœur, which means heart? Just like your heart pumps blood to your arms, legs, and brain, your courage pumps up energy into all your other virtues. Courage means we usually feel the weight of a choice and have some degree of fear in its consequences. And in matters of great change, there are good reasons to fear. Just a few minutes ago, we watched the video, and one of the girls or from the youth said, we need skills beyond school. We need skills in the life after school. And I think the greatest barrier to courage is fear of failure. Youth commonly ask, what if I fail? What if I fail if I studied this? What if I'm making a huge mistake? What if I die? You know, what if my parents don't take it well? What if they disown me? The reality of it is, as soon as I figured it out, is that there is really no need for it to be so scary for young people. You're definitely not going to die. And you probably won't fail if you take another subject, or if you quit school, or you attend a virtual classroom. If you do exactly just have a certain kind of courage, it's very hard for humans, especially young people, to wrap their minds around the fact that things can actually go back to how they were before. You can go back to being a student if something goes wrong. Imagine dropping out of school, just like if you leave your career to pursue something else. You can always go back and apply for a similar old job again. Youth need that courage to take new paths and trust that there is a way home. And this skill needs to be taught in education. Education needs to rewire youth to take the risks necessary to live a successful, vibrant life of purpose and make the changes in our systems that we need. Isn't that the very point of education as well? The fact is, if we don't have the courage to actually live these ideas when it matters the most, we'll get stuck in Theoryville and never actually have or do the advanced work of living those ideas and ideals. The willingness to take courage. Courage does not mean we're fearless. It means we're able to overcome it. We need policymakers and decision makers and change makers to consciously choose a willingness to act to overcome over fear. What will follow is education that will teach students and youth the courage to overcome fear and act. Now, education can't enjoy youth with curiosity or courage without its leaders modeling it and embodying it first. And here's the magic of curiosity and courage that I want to end with. When we have courage to have curiosity, both as individuals and policymakers and as systems, to encourage our youth to have that, we have the winning combination to rewire our education system. That is what will truly change our world, the strong desire to know and learn something and the courage to take action to pursue learning it. Without curiosity and courage, we will not truly rewire. I cannot tell you how excited I am in this conversation that is taking place in the next 3 days and that I'm part of it with you. Today is a milestone event because we're entering one of the most important conversations on the planet. Humans have yet to explore the true limits of our brain. And discussing the evolution of education and skills building for the future of work is the absolute best place to see how much we can stretch toward our brain's greatest capacity for our world's greatest good. A special thank you to Dubai Cares, who have birthed this powerful conversation into reality. The global multi-sector partnership is the heart of everything we do and embodies the spirit of Expo 2020's mission to connect people, connect ideas, and connect government as a way to closing our world's gap. And I'm proud to come from a nation, the United Arab Emirates, and to contribute to a mission like Generation Unlimited that empowers youth to expand their education, their training, and their employment opportunities. So as a closing, let us begin the 3 days filled with 3 things. The courage to be curious, to lay every education design with the bricks that pave our road with continuous courage and curiosity. Second, as we lead in this conference so that the outcomes in the design of our education and workforce rewiring will be filled and injected with vaccines of courage and curiosity. Earth is our school, and daily life is our classroom. Lastly, let us lead every endeavor today and every day with curiosity and courage, not only that equips us to design education optimally, but to endow future generations with the same capacity that shapes our global inheritance. Let us rewire with curiosity, and let us rewire with courage, and let us rewire together. Thank you very much.